All right, let's get into it. You know that feeling, that quiet, gnawing dissatisfaction that lives somewhere just below the surface of your day-to-day existence. That little voice that whispers, "Is this it?" as you scroll through social media or collapse on the couch at the end of a long, unfulfilling day. That feeling is not a bug. It's a feature. It's your gut, your intuition, your deeper self screaming for your attention. It's the signal that something is fundamentally out of alignment. That your life, right now, sucks. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Your life sucks. And it's not because of the economy. It's not because of your boss. It's not because you haven't found the one yet. It's not even because of your terrible ex. It's because of you. It's because of the tiny, repeated choices you make every single day that push you further and further away from the person you know you could be. You've built your life on a foundation of convenience and comfort, and now you're surprised that it feels hollow. You've been promised that if you just work hard enough, consume enough, and acquire enough, happiness will magically appear. That's a lie. It's a marketing slogan, not a life strategy. It's the kind of thinking that gets you a full closet and an empty soul. Let's be brutally honest. Your life sucks because you're living in a state of passive reaction, not active creation. You are a passenger, not a driver. You're waiting for external circumstances to change so you can finally feel good. But that's a fool's game. The world doesn't owe you a damn thing. It responds to what you put out, not what you wish for. This brings us to the first shocking truth. The reason your life sucks is that you're waiting for permission to live it. You're waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect partner, the perfect job title. You're waiting for someone to tell you that you're ready, that you're good enough. But nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to grant you permission. Your life is not a movie with a big, dramatic reveal. It's a series of small, unglamorous choices, and every single day you choose inaction. You are choosing for your life to suck. And here's the second harsh truth. You're not who you think you are. You are who you act as. Your identity isn't built on your intentions or your dreams. It's built on your habits. If you want to be a successful person, you have to do the things a successful person does. If you want to be a person of character, you have to make choices that build character. You can say you're a hard worker all you want. But if you spend 3 hours a night scrolling on your phone, your actions are telling a different story. And that story is what the world and you will believe. The gap between who you say you are and who you are in your day-to-day actions is where all the pain, anxiety, and self-loathing lives. This is where the psychology gets real. Your brain is wired for pleasure and pain, and it is a master of creating emotional loops. You do something that makes you feel bad, like procrastinating or wasting time, and then you feel guilty or anxious. To soothe that bad feeling, you turn to a quick hit of dopamine, like watching another YouTube video or eating junk food. This is the emotionally charged behavior loop that is slowly but surely destroying your life. You are using the very behaviors that make you feel bad as a way to cope with the bad feelings. It's a vicious cycle, and you're trapped in it. The clear takeaway here is a small but powerful mindset shift. Your feelings are not facts. They are just information. You don't have to believe the voice that says you're a failure. You don't have to give in to the feeling of resistance. You can acknowledge the emotion, "I feel like a failure, and I feel like just giving up and watching another episode," and then choose to act differently. You can choose to get up. You can choose to do the one small thing you know you should be doing. The feeling will eventually follow the action. You don't get your shit together because you feel good. You feel good because you get your shit together. Your life is a direct reflection of your habits. You don't have to change your entire life overnight. You just have to change one small thing today, and then do it again tomorrow, and again the day after that. It's not about a massive transformation. It's about a relentless series of tiny, uncomfortable wins. Your life sucks, but getting your shit together is easier than you think. It's not a mountain you have to climb. It's a single step you have to take right now. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for a feeling of readiness. The feeling will only come once you start. So, start. Let's talk about the uncomfortable truth of attraction dynamics. You want to be a magnet. You want to attract high-value people into your life, whether they are romantic partners, business colleagues, or true friends. But here's the cold, hard reality: you don't attract what you want. you attract what you are. Right now, if your life sucks, if it's defined by inaction and passive consumption, you are broadcasting a very clear signal to the world. That signal is one of low energy and low value. It says, I am not in control of my life. I am a passenger. My time is not valuable, and my dreams are just fantasies. This isn't a moral judgment. It's a simple fact of human psychology. We are hardwired to be drawn to people who radiate competence, purpose, and a quiet sense of control. This isn't about arrogance or loud confidence. It's about the deep-seated security that comes from knowing you are the master of your own destiny. Even when things are difficult, the person who is genuinely attractive isn't the one who has everything figured out. That's a fantasy. The truly magnetic person is the one who is actively engaged in the messy, uncomfortable process of getting their shit together. They are a work in progress, and their life is a project they are actively building. This creates a kind of forward momentum that is incredibly compelling. It signals growth, resilience, and a deep emotional maturity. Conversely, think about the people who repel you, the ones who are constantly complaining, who blame everyone else for their problems, who are perpetual victims. They are broadcasting a signal of powerlessness and stagnation. They are stuck, and they are begging for someone else to pull them out. This is a massive burden, and on an unconscious level, people will instinctively distance themselves from it. You can't attract a rescuer without also attracting the kind of emotional burden that most healthy people will instinctively avoid. This is where the emotionally charged behavior analysis becomes critical. Your inability to get your shit together is creating a low-grade anxiety and a sense of emotional fragility. You're constantly in a state of emotional debt. You owe yourself the effort, the discipline, and the action you are avoiding, and that debt is weighing on you. This emotional weight is what makes you irritable, insecure, and less attractive to others. It's a kind of psychic junk you're carrying around, and people can feel it. They can feel the unspoken frustration, the unfulfilled potential, the quiet self-loathing. So, how do you fix it? The key isn't to suddenly become perfect. It's to start a pattern interrupt. You have to break the cycle of inaction and passive consumption. You have to trade the immediate, cheap pleasure of the easy way out for the deep, lasting satisfaction of doing the hard thing. This is the one powerful takeaway that will change everything. You're not trying to be perfect. You're trying to be a person of action. Perfection is the enemy of progress. It's just another excuse to not start. The person who wants to be perfect will never write a book. They'll spend a lifetime meticulously outlining and researching, but they'll never write the first sentence. The person who wants to be a person of action, however, will write one ugly, terrible sentence, and then they'll write another. They'll keep going. Not because they're perfect, but because they understand that action is the only thing that matters. Your life sucks because you've prioritized the feeling of comfort over the reward of progress. You've traded the temporary high of inaction for the long-term low of a life unlived. But getting your shit together is a process, not a destination. It starts with one small, deliberate, and uncomfortable act of defiance. One push-up, 1 minute of writing, one small conversation. The person you want to become is not waiting for a sign. They are waiting for you to start building them. So, stop waiting. You're not a victim of circumstance. You're a victim of your own habits. It's time to change them. The psychology of stagnation. Comfort as a trap. Now, let's dive into the core of emotionally charged behavior that's keeping you stuck. Your life sucks, in large part, because you're in a constant state of emotional debt. Think about it. You know you should be doing things, exercising, working on a side project, reaching out to a friend, or tackling that pile of laundry. Every time you don't do these things, a tiny mental IOU is created. You owe yourself the effort, the discomfort, and the growth, but you're constantly defaulting on the payment. This emotional debt accrues interest. It's that nagging feeling of guilt, the low-grade anxiety that hums in the background of your life. It's not a punishment, it's a signal. It's your subconscious mind telling you that there's a disconnect between who you are and who you want to be. This is a crucial piece of emotionally charged behavior analysis. Your feelings aren't random. That feeling of emptiness or dissatisfaction is a direct result of your inaction. It's a psychological tax on living a life of passive consumption, And what do you do to cope with this debt? You double down on the very behavior that caused it. You feel bad, so you seek comfort. You scroll more, you watch more shows, you eat more junk food. Each of these actions offers a temporary reprieve, a small dopamine hit that numbs the pain of the IOU. But it's a vicious cycle. The more you numb, the bigger the debt becomes, and the worse you feel when the high wears off. You're trying to escape a problem by running directly into its cause. This is where attraction dynamics become brutally simple. People are unconsciously drawn to those who are emotionally solvent. A person who is actively working on their life, who is paying down their emotional debt with action, radiates a certain calm confidence. They aren't burdened by the weight of their own inaction. They are present. They are emotionally available. They are a source of positive energy because they are not a black hole of unfulfilled potential. Conversely, a person who is drowning in emotional debt is a psychological burden. Their internal struggle leaks out in the form of irritability, insecurity, and a general lack of life force. This isn't a character flaw, it's a behavioral consequence. You can't be a magnet for healthy, vibrant relationships when your own inner world is in chaos. You'll either attract other people who are also stuck, creating a mutual dependency and stagnation, or you'll repel the very people who could help you grow. Your current state is broadcasting a signal of, "I am not a good investment." It's an unconscious but powerful repellent. The clear takeaway here, the mindset shift that can change everything, is to understand this. Discomfort is not a sign of failure, it's a signal of progress. That feeling of resistance you get when you think about doing something productive, that's not a sign you should stop. That's the feeling of paying down your emotional debt. It's the friction of growth. It's the sound of your old passive self fighting back against the new, active you. Lean into it. Embrace the discomfort. See it as a sign that you're on the right track. When you feel that urge to quit, to retreat to the couch, just remind yourself, this feeling means it's working. Your life sucks right now because you've been living in a state of avoidance. But getting your shit together is not about a massive, heroic act. It's about a million tiny, uncomfortable moments of doing what you said you would do. It's about paying down your emotional debt, one small, disciplined action at a time. The road to a better life is paved with discomfort, so start walking. The harsh reality of relationship dynamics. Let's get into the hard truth about your relationships and your life. You're not attracting the kind of partners or people you truly want because you are not yet the person who can attract them. Your life sucks, and it's broadcasting that signal to everyone you meet, whether you realize it or not. Think about the emotionally charged behavior you exhibit. When you're constantly in a state of emotional debt burdened by the things you know you should be doing, but aren't you become a source of negative energy? This isn't just a vague, bad vibes concept. It's a real psychological phenomenon. Your anxiety, your self-doubt, your irritability. These things don't exist in a vacuum. They manifest in your body language, your tone of voice, and your conversations. You come across as insecure, needy, or emotionally unstable, and these are some of the most powerful repellents in the human attraction toolkit. The truly magnetic people, the ones who effortlessly draw others to them, are not the ones with the perfect jawline or the biggest bank account. They are the ones with an inner world that is being actively tended to. They are emotionally solvent. They don't carry the weight of their own inaction. They are at peace with themselves, and that peace is what makes them attractive. They are a safe harbor in a chaotic world, and you're instinctively drawn to that sense of calm and competence. You cannot be that for someone else until you are that for yourself. This is the emotionally charged behavior analysis at its core. You're not just a person looking for a partner, you're a person broadcasting a frequency. And right now, the frequency you're broadcasting is unfulfilled potential. It's a signal of scarcity, not abundance. You are unconsciously telling the world that you don't believe in yourself enough to build your own life. So you're hoping someone else will come along and make it better. This is a massive burden to place on a potential partner, and it's a huge red flag for anyone who has their own shit together. Here's the shocking truth that most people refuse to face. You cannot fake true attraction. You can put on a nice outfit, you can learn a few conversation tricks, and you can even get a temporary match. But the moment you have to show up as your real, unedited self, the person burdened by emotional debt and a life of passive consumption, the illusion shatters. The true test of attraction isn't the first date, it's the 10th one. It's the late-night conversation. It's the moment of crisis. And if your foundation is built on a life that sucks, it will crumble. The clear takeaway here is a painful but necessary mindset shift. The relationship you want starts with the relationship you have with yourself. You have to fall in love with the process of building your own life. You have to become your own hero. You have to show up for yourself first, before you can expect anyone else to show up for you. This isn't just some cheesy self-help advice. This is the brutal psychological truth of human connection. The most attractive thing you can do is to be a person who doesn't need someone else to complete them. A person who is whole on their own. So, stop waiting for someone else to make your life better. Your relationships are a direct mirror of your inner world. If your inner world is a mess, your relationships will be too. Start cleaning up the mess. Get your own shit together. It's the only way to attract the kind of people who have already gotten theirs together. The person you want to attract is out there, but they're not looking for a project. They're looking for a partner. Be a partner. The ultimate goal: emotional and behavioral mastery. You've been living a life that sucks. And it's time to understand that the ultimate objective is not just to get your shit together, but to achieve a state of emotional and behavioral mastery. This isn't about becoming a robot who feels nothing. It's about becoming a person who can feel everything and still choose to act in alignment with their values. This is the difference between a life of passive reaction and a life of active creation. Your current emotionally charged behaviors, the procrastination, the passive consumption, the avoidance of discomfort are all strategies you've developed to avoid emotional pain. But they are a terrible trade. You're trading the temporary pain of discomfort for the permanent pain of an unlived life. You're sacrificing your long-term well-being for a short-term hit of relief. This is the final, brutal truth of your situation. Your comfort zone is a gilded cage. It looks nice, it feels safe, but it's keeping you from the life you want. The bars are made of your excuses, your habits of inaction, and your fear of failure. Every time you retreat to the couch, you're just tightening the lock. The truly successful people, the ones who have a life you admire, are not fearless. They are simply people who have learned to live outside of their cage. They feel the fear, the doubt, and the resistance, and they act anyway. This brings us to a critical piece of psychology-backed analysis. Your life is a direct reflection of your ability to manage your emotional state. You don't have a problem with motivation. You have a problem with emotional regulation. You've taught yourself that the way to deal with discomfort is to avoid it. The only way to get your shit together is to teach yourself a new strategy to face discomfort, to feel it fully, and to act despite it. This is the clear takeaway. The final mindset shift. Your life's purpose is to become a master of your own emotional state. The most powerful relationship you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. When you start to build a life of action, you're building a life of self-trust. You are showing yourself, through your actions, that you are the kind of person who can be relied upon. This is the foundation of true, lasting confidence. It's not something you can get from an affirmation or a motivational video. It's something you earn, one small, uncomfortable act at a time. So, here's your final call to action. Stop waiting for the feeling of readiness. Stop waiting for permission. The life you want is not a destination. It's a series of actions, and it begins with a single, defiant choice to get up. Your life sucks, but it's not a life sentence. You have the power to change it. All you have to do is start.